Greetings everyone, here we are with another delightful video, and this time I'm going to cover this character sheet packet for Dungeons & Dragons 2024. As I said before, in the Player's Handbook video, oh hi Sassy, there is a slight debate about how to identify or organize Dungeons & Dragons 2014 version from 2024 version. The simplest way is simply the date. But a lot of people have been moving towards calling it Dungeons & Dragons 5.24 edition, which is not terribly bad. It does get the accurate feel of what it is and still conveys what it is. Conveys the level of update it is or not update, which also then brings into the question of the other ones, like Tales of the Valiant and Advance 5e from Level Up, which might be higher version editions of Dungeons & Dragons compared to the regular 5th edition and the 2024. So here we go with that whole spiel on that. But anyways, first and foremost, this is a nice little packet. It's nice artwork on the cover. MSRP's for $14.99. It has this tear down flap right here, which is fresh. I've actually seen these character sheets before, but only in photos, so there you go. It's a slipcase, as I can see here, and it is in a envelope, or not envelope, but a folder style setup here. And we have, using the character sheets section right here, just a little bit of information right there, and it points you to the Player's Handbook or D&D Beyond. Now, first and foremost, it looks like it's exactly the same sheets on both sides, but let's not get ahead of ourselves here. In the 2014 version of this packet, there's 3 different versions of these character sheets with their own pros and cons about how they're set up. And there was a nice benefit in that fact that you could hand one style of sheets to beginning players or new players, and another style of sheets to more experienced players that was more nuanced, and then another style was interesting in itself. The different styles of character sheets are nice because it gets your idea thinking about how to customize character sheets. And that's a really cool detail. These appear to be all exactly the same. So it really doesn't matter if I just pull one out. It seems to be only one sheet, front, back. So there you go. And you have all your basic information on the other side. I do notice that they removed the biffs from here. So your bonds, ideals, and flaws are no longer on the character sheet, which is perfectly fine. And that's kind of a thing that you don't really need to have on the character sheet. You could have that on a little notebook or something that the player has with the character sheet. This section right here is really nicely organized. You have a nice little simple box right here for the character and background and class and all your basic information. You have a character, your level of your character right here. And then you have your armor class and hit point information right here. It's well organized. Then you have your initiative, speed, size, and passive perception. Please note that there's no longer passive investigation or any other passives on this character sheet. It's just stripped down to passive perception. We have your proficiency bonus as well, your strength, dexterity, constitution, your intelligence, your wisdom, and your charisma boxes with all the all the skills that are related to each one in them. This is a nice one for new players. So far, we have some improvement in organization. We have a slight downgrade in the passives. abilities. We have a little box here to check for heroic inspiration, and you have this tiny little equipment box, and you have your weapons, class features, species traits, and feats. First and foremost, this is way, 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 way too damn small, and is probably only useful for like the first five levels. You have to learn to write really small because you're going to run out of space really quickly in your equipment and training proficiencies. If you start teaching yourself new skills over time, you're going to start running out of space fast. Your weapons box is like the bare minimum size, unless you're a wizard or a spellcaster who might only have a staff or a dagger. This is not a good size to have. Class features is too damn small. This should be like 3 times this size right off the bat, the class features section. Species traits is close to an okay size. That is debatable with some species in the 2024 book. You have to learn to write really small for that. The feats section is too small. It's straight out too damn small. No questions asked. Unless you're the type of person who doesn't ever take feats and just go with ASIs, or maybe an occasional 1 or 2 feats to the side, really simple ones, that's not going to be any good. And then on the back side is your general character information. You have another section for equipment. So, yeah, that is too damn small. The equipment section is too small. The coin section is perfectly fine, but there should also be a gems section and treasure, like paintings, gems, statues, stuff like that, for the coinage section. Your backstory and personality is depends on the player. Appearance is okay. Languages is too small, so we have too small for languages, too small for equipment. We have a spellcasting list, which is perfectly fine in, say, like if you are just a typical ranger, bard, or warlock, or even sorcerer. But in the case of a wizard, this is no good. And in the case of a cleric, druid, or paladin, this is also no good. Other than that, we have a nice little box up here for spell slots to keep track of it. Standard organization of spell slots by stars, which is perfectly fine, as well as the spellcasting DC. First and foremost, I do like the whole thing. I would probably take in the passives and rearrange this so you can have in this here you can have your passives as well as your regular, so your passive animal handling as well as your regular animal handling, just in case your DM wants to go with passive because your character is so empathetic to animals that they are just naturally just good at it all the time on a basic level or something like that. That would have been handy to add in there. As I said, the weapons, class features, and feats are way too damn small. That would have almost practically have had to have been another sheet in itself. A part of me says that they made it like this is just to save on paper and have everything fit on 2 sheets, which is a good thing. But then you're playing into a different style of TTRPG system, which is not exactly Dungeons & Dragons. Half of this stuff right here, pretty much this stuff right here, could have gone on the other sheet with this stuff, and then your spell stuff should have been on a third sheet. Overall, this is probably only good for the first 5 to 10 levels of a character, and then you're going to start having to erase a bunch of stuff and make your writing really small just to fit it all on the character sheet. There's some downgrades overall compared to the original 2014 character sheets. However, there are some mild improvements in organization. They cleaned up a lot of lines and they boxed off and organized sections, so it's more visually fluid. So it's just not just a box here, box there, or jibble-jabbled all over the place. There is actually a logic. There is a column here. There's a section here. There's a vertical header right there. Something similar with this. You got a little vertical header right here. You got a column here and a box section right here. It just naturally flows together. It's not overly complicated to the eye, so it doesn't overwhelm the mind, particularly those with ADHD. But overall, this is not a terribly good character sheet. I'm going to say that this is probably just manages to be 3 stars. Now, 3 stars is when I say something is 3 stars means it is functional. You can use it. It meets all the basic things you need. However, it is not exceptional in any form or manner. Truly exceptional. Whatever good facets about it are just really basic stuff that is just decent. A decent organization or decent amount of art or something like that. Not something overly good or overly bad. So this is a product in this territory of like, oh, this is neat. This is nice to have for some players. However, you're gonna really have to write things really small in some cases, and you're going to easily end up with situations if you get really far into the game and you start multi-classing into many different classes. These sheets are going to rapidly get overly cluttered with revisions and notes. And considering that if you're trying to revise, erase stuff constantly and rewrite it to make it smaller, you're going to end up with a situation where you're going to end up with spots in the paper where it is smudged and you can barely read anymore, or it's worn thin from the eraser going over it constantly. This might also be just a situation where Wizards of the Coast has decided to put their efforts into D&D Beyond more so, and they just simply put someone who is merely competent in organization and told them they had to fit all the character sheet information on one piece of paper, and here's your job. You just come up with this product, and boom, they produce it. It's okay. It's just not great, and so anything. As a reminder, anything below 3 stars in the 2-star territory, like 2, 2.25, 2.5, 2.75, it has some good aspects about it, but has some flaws or issues in design or something else, like a table's not good or well organized, or it's missing some information for some features. The game is still playable, or the book has still usable stuff in it, but there is issues with it, like missing papers, a missing monster or something like that. That is annoying, but you can get it from somewhere else. It was fairly cheap, or replace it. And then you got 1-star stuff, which is complete garbage. Don't buy 1-star stuff at all. 4-star stuff is good stuff. It's everything is either above average in quality, or is you have something in there that is so good and so well thought out, it literally makes up a good chunk of the value of the product, and everything else is okay or better. So this is a 3-star product. So if you're interested in this kind of thing, please subscribe to the channel. I cover a lot of different stuff, not just Dungeons & Dragons, Pathfinder, Starfinder, and Call of Cthulhu, but also I will cover OSR products. I will pull out stuff like Shadowrun, 6th World, Doctor Who, Star Trek, Star Wars, all kinds of TTRPGs. So this channel is just generally a good place for you want to go to, that I bring something up and you like, oh, I didn't realize that type of TTRPG existed, or oh, there's a beginner box for this TTRPG. I was interested in that TTRPG. I'll go get the beginner box or starter set or the quick start rules. So there you go. Or I will show off third-party stuff for TTRPGs. Oops, that's dusty because I haven't picked that up in a long time. And show that stuff off, and you can this is cool. I can use the stuff from that to improve my Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition games and stuff like that. So thank you very much. This whole pile right here is all Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition stuff, and some Pathfinder stuff in there. There's actually a few pieces of Pathfinder stuff mixed in with it, but mostly all third-party Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition stuff. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a delightful day, a nice night, a wonderful weekend, magnificent month, and see you next time. Ciao.